Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, a Southern Kentucky man is dead and another person is in the hospital after an early morning fire. It happened on Liberty Road near Eubank in Pulaski County, not far from the Lincoln and Rockcastle County lines. WYMT's Phil Pendleton is in Pulaski County with the latest.
A tragic scene playing out here this morning. A fire, 2 people inside. One person was able to get out, the other was not. And now the cause of what took place here is under investigation. A neighbor called 911 just before 1 o'clock Tuesday morning, telling dispatchers that the house across the street and up from him was on fire. Firefighters arrived and said the house was completely ablaze. They knew a woman had escaped, but a man was still inside in the bedroom area of the house.
Of course, they knew that there's a person in the house. First, they went to rescue mode and tried to knock down and get in what they could do to get to the individual. And but then we had to go back to protection.
The cause is still under investigation, but fire officials say it's believed to have started in the kitchen area because that is where the fire did the most damage and burned the hottest. And fire officials say that these fires are difficult to put out and bring under control based on the nature of the materials involved. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
The coroner says he's still working to identify the remains of the man who was killed. Officials have also not released the name of the woman who was injured. Today marks the first ever National Fentanyl Awareness Day, a time dedicated to informing everyone of the risks associated with the synthetic drug and a time to promote fentanyl overdose prevention. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says fentanyl and other synthetic drugs are currently the leading contributor to overdose deaths. They add the trend is even more alarming in America's youth. During the last year, researchers saw a dramatic increase in fentanyl-related deaths in teens ages 14 to 18. Experts add part of the problem is how easy the drug is to hide.
The scary part about the landscape of the drug culture today is that even things that supposedly wouldn't have fentanyl in them may be laced with fentanyl. And it's really today, it is a game of Russian roulette.
President and CEO of Operation Unite, Nancy Hale, says prevention is key in combating the fentanyl crisis, but prevention should begin in schools and should begin before it gets into the hands of our teens. A bridge in Floyd County that sees hundreds of drivers every day is not as strong as it used to be, and for good reason. It's nearly a century old. The bridge was already on the list to be replaced. However, significant damage accelerated construction. The bridge will now be shut down for several months as crews rebuild from the ground up. Marley Pinchak has the details.
The Joseph Gearhart Bridge in Floyd County, nearly a century old, sits along Kentucky 550. Although the structure isn't as strong as it used to be, it's remained a convenient route that hundreds of drivers like Daryl Patton rely on daily.
Probably about 4 times a day.
But after someone crashed into this guardrail, ripping it off its foundation, it's time for this 90-year-old bridge to get some major repairs done. And that means drivers will have to tack on an extra few minutes onto their commute for several months.
Somewhat out of the way, not bad though.
The bridge is in bad condition. We normally inspect bridges every 2 years or 1 year, and we've actually been inspecting this one every 3 months due to the condition.
Chris Allen with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says plans were already scheduled for the bridge to be replaced this summer. However, following this significant damage, the project has been moved up to begin this week.
All new concrete and new beams, a new deck, and a new railing to prevent vehicles from running off the edge of the bridge.
Soon enough, this staple in the community will be demolished, and a stronger, safer bridge will lead the way for drivers once again. But for several months, drivers like Patton will have to take a detour, like Kentucky 80, for example, in the meantime. It tacks on about 5 to 10 extra minutes.
I'll just be glad that they get the bridge repaired.
Although an inconvenience for some drivers, Patton says it's worth the wait. Marley Pinchak, WSAZ, News Channel 3, Floyd County.
Work is scheduled to begin again this week, and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says the new bridge is expected to open to traffic in August.
Well, it's another gorgeous afternoon in the mountains, a carbon copy of yesterday, today. We've got that on the way as we head into the next couple of days. Absolutely fantastic outside around the mountains. We look outside at the moment, I-75 at Mount Vernon. It's all quiet. All blue skies out there with the traffic moving smoothly at this hour. Out front of WYMT, well, nothing but blue sky here either. It's absolutely gorgeous this afternoon. Temperatures running a little warm. Look at Williamson for West Virginia sitting at 86. Most of us upper 70s or low 80s at this hour. 81 a popular number. If you look towards places like Middlesboro, Hazard, Williamsburg, Somerset, Monticello, even up to Jackson and Moorhead, all coming in at 81 this afternoon. Again, satellite and radar like we've been talking about. Yeah, we had a few clouds over central Kentucky a little bit earlier today, but those are long gone, and we'll continue to see gorgeous conditions heading into tonight. So when you open up that WYMT weather app, you scroll through our forecast, you'll see temperatures into the 60s and eventually into the upper 50s tonight. Now I've got the latest on how long this sunshine looks to last coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Ukraine's ambassador to the United States met with federal lawmakers today as they prepared to vote on a massive Ukraine assistance package. A decision on the nearly $40 billion in additional defense and humanitarian aid could happen in the House as soon as today. That is almost $7 billion more than President Biden's original request. If passed, the Senate plans to act on it sooner rather than later, but opinions on what the bill should actually cover are mixed.
This is a large package, but the need is great and time is of the essence. After the House passes the legislation, it is my intention for the Senate to act on it as soon as we can.
Discussions are underway between the House and Senate appropriators on the crafting of the package. It needs to be clean of extraneous matters directly related to helping the Ukrainians win the war.
This all comes as heavy fighting continues in the eastern region of Ukraine, with top U.S. national security officials telling lawmakers Russia and Ukraine are at a, quote, stalemate for the time being. Back here in the U.S., the financial toll of those tensions is being felt by many as the national average price for a gallon of regular gas is up now to $4.37. AAA says that wipes out the prior record of $4.33 set back in March. It did drop down a bit in April after the record-setting release of oil from emergency reserves and as crude oil prices cooled off, but just as industry analysts predicted, they shot back up, and some worry even higher prices are in the cards, maybe even up to $4.50 a gallon in the next week or so. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Tuesday. The Dow closes down today more than 85 points. We'll have more financial news in our next half hour. The White House wants to tighten its cybersecurity and just added 3 new staff members to help make it happen. Sources say Kimba Aeneas Walden, who led a Microsoft program to counter ransomware, will serve as the team's principal deputy. Neil Higgins, recently a senior CIA official focused on cybersecurity, joins the team in a senior role, and so does Rob Kanaki, a veteran of cyber policy teams in the Obama administration. The team is responsible for helping the federal government respond to major hacks and keeping a close eye on how agencies manage their cyber defenses. Still to come on First at 4, Queen Elizabeth II pulls back from more royal duties as she continues to struggle with health problems.
The days don't come much nicer than this as you head into mid-May. The latest details on our sunny forecast on the way.